Welcome back, my beautiful blessings. Today I'm going to be doing my part 2 to my testimony. So honestly, you guys, this was not my plans. I honestly had plans to talk about a different incident because again, this is a 4-part testimony, which it may actually end up being 5 because this topic right here should be 2 parts alone because it can deal with 2 different categories of people. So it actually might end up being a 5-part, but the plan was to talk about my other part to my testimony, but Holy Spirit placed it upon me to switch those topics around. So I'm going to be talking about my testimony in dealing with toxic, emotionally abusive relationships, because I was in a lot of them, whether you realize it or not. I was in so many relationships that was just never sufficient for me, and now I know why, but beforehand I was just wondering, like, why am I always in and out of relationships? Why is it me always leaving the relationship feeling like, what's going wrong, what's happening? Like, it just seemed like nothing ever worked out because they were all the same. They were all had this pattern to them, and I never understood why. I never understood why it was so hard to just want to be with one person, but again feel as though I'm appreciated in the relationship. It was just a lot more of that, but it's gonna be R&B edition because it is Black History Month. Honestly, I was just like, this does go so perfect with the topic. So how I'm going to do it is I'm going to explain the foundation of the type of men I would attract because of who I am, because I'm so generous, loving, appreciative, wanting to see the best in people, regardless of how far off they can be. I just always wanted to see the good in them, always wanted to be the one to bring out the good in them. And I'm sure many of you can relate once you can understand the type of things you go through. There can be many men and women and men who go through these cycles with these types of people in relationships because they don't understand why it is that they keep falling for this same person who's doing them so wrong emotionally, this person who don't listen, this person who doesn't change. It's so many factors, but I really just wanted to do it. I really wanted to do it into a music edition, just because I remember when I went through these times where I was in these relationships and I was just like, I want to leave, but something not letting me leave. It was like so confusing, or I would leave and then I end up coming back. So I just found so many songs in relation to this. So I just wanted to go based off their music and just really explain how I experienced this personality of narcissism and these relationships that caused it to fail. So let's get into this video, beautiful blessings. I'm excited to do this with you all. Let's get into the video. So guys, this is my work set, just so you know. I work from home, so this is my little space. So I'm going to be looking at the computer. If I'm like looking kind of out of the camera, that's what's happening, because I'm looking at the computer, because I'm going based off the lyrics of the songs to kind of break down narcissism, break down the type of people, not even just to put a label on it, break down the type of people that I've dealt with in the past that you may be dealing with. So I'm just going to be looking back and forth. You'll be able to see it on the screen, and I honestly wish that it was some way for me to play these parts in the song so that y'all can hear it, but I don't want to get copyrighted. But if you ever have the time, check out these songs because it really hits you differently. It really do. So we're going to start with the song Mr. Wrong by Mary J. Blige. What's so interesting about the beginning of this song is I like how they have it where it's like the male and the woman. So in this song it's Drake, it's featuring Drake. I love how when these songs you have the male and then you have the woman singing the song, because it gives you both perspectives. Just jumping in the middle of what he was saying, I would hate to think I tricked them, they fall victim to my system. Guess I sure know how to pick 'em. Yeah, I'm always her regret. Yeah, I'm always her regret because I always make it harder on whoever's coming next. So I'm like, okay, so let's be clear here. What system are we referring to? You know, like, they fall victim to my system. Guess I sure know how to pick them. So in my mind, there could be a different meaning, but in my mind, I'm thinking, okay, fall victim to your system. You're falling victim to his games, falling victim to the manipulation that goes on, the gaslighting, the tricking, the I didn't say that when he said that. You know what I'm saying? Playing these games with your mind. Hey y'all, I just wanted to quickly say that I realized when I was editing this video that I forgot to mention and explain when he said I sure know how to pick them, what that means. And so pretty much, I don't know how, but manipulators always tend to know how to spot their prey or spot people who they know will fall for them. I'm not sure if it's the eye contact that they see, or the fact that you may have known them before, or probably the place of location or your body language that tells them, hey, I'm available or whatnot. I'm not sure what it is. But it's like they already know they can have you wrapped around their finger even before you speak with them, or even before y'all start this relationship. So it's pretty strange. But typically they tend to know the type of people they should be approaching. He goes after that and say, and I'm always her regret. Yeah, I'm always her regret. And I always make it harder on whoever's coming next. So, okay, then he confirms that. It's like, okay, I'm always her regret. You never regret a relationship unless some stuff happened in that relationship that just made it so complicated. Hey y'all, so these receipts are from my Snapchat. This is when I got out of a 1-year toxic relationship. And this is exactly what I said when I was doing the Q&A on Snapchat when they asked me what happened. They were like, what happened? Why are you single? Y'all look like everything was fine. I said, well, of course everything seemed fine because we didn't post about our business on social media just like everyone else. We only posted the good stuff, so of course things appear to be as though nothing was ever wrong. But man, little did y'all know, and having to explain why I chose to be single is a bit complex for the average person to understand, especially if you don't know nothing about mind control and the manipulative games guys tend to play. And then again, it's not everyone's business to know why we broke up, but know that I'd never waste so much of my time investing into a person just to have to cut them off sometime later down the line. And I'm not like that and never will be. If anything, guys take my kindness for granted, and this is where it stops. Some things you truly can't change, and some things people don't want to change. But I will say that if I knew what I know a year ago, what I should have said was, but I will say that if I knew now what I knew a year ago, there would have never been a relationship. And honestly, reading this message from the place I'm in now, I can truly agree with the ending statement saying that sometimes you truly can't change people, and sometimes people don't want to change, and that's the truth of the matter, is that if they're not willing to change, then no progress will be made because they have to be a willing vessel. He's saying, and he's confirming that he made her regret the relationship, and that he's always that person who makes her regret it, and he always make it harder on whoever's coming next, implying that he's given her trust issues for the next relationship she goes into, and now that person got to deal with her insecurities, her hardships, because of everything she's went through with this last guy, so to speak, Drake, who's had her fall victim to his system and make it so much so that she regret even being with him. And that's generally how that goes. It's like you regret the situation so bad because you make bad decisions with this person, and it's crazy what love will do to you is what we'll further get into. But it's like you really fall victim to this manipulation because with narcissism, you don't see it coming. You're in this, it starts out so good. You're in love, you're going places, doing things, and before you know it, boom, you're living together. Boom. It's like everything happens so fast. And I'm not saying that that's bad for every relationship, but you really just got to think about your standards at that point. Like, okay, what made this relationship move so fast? Is it really love? Is it really genuine care? Now, again, sometimes these type of people know how to fake that empathy. They know how to mirror you. They know how to be like, oh yeah, me too. Oh yeah, I like this. Oh, you like that? They know how to collect that information, collect that data, and know exactly what you want to hear. They tell you what you want to hear in the beginning. Everything's going smooth. But that moment where you settle down, where you commit, boom, it's done. It's done. But listen, again, like, this is not to bash any men or women. This is just to bring clarity for the confusion that goes on when you don't understand why you're so addicted to this person. That's the perfect term for it, because it's like you want to leave, and the addiction, you know it's bad for you, but you can't stop doing it. You can't stop running to it. You can't stop indulging in that pleasure thing or person that you're addicted to, right? So that's basically the meaning of it, you know. And so he follows after that and says, it goes up and down, it's just up and down. She'll cry now, but she'll laugh again. And I'm like, Drake is going in. He said, y'all, he said, it goes up and down and up and down. That's exactly how the relationship is, because you always have your ups and you always have your downs. Now, I'm not saying you're going to have this perfect relationship where everything going to go right, because I surely don't. But at the same time, there's also a lot more happiness that goes on than arguments, than just being mad at each other, getting upset with each other. Because like I said, I've been there, and in those relationships, it was like, oh my goodness, we were arguing almost every day over simple stuff that led into bigger stuff that led into a whole nother argument. And it was so confusing, it was so frustrating, it was so irritating. But then you also think about all the good times y'all had, and it's like boom bang, they hitting against each other, and you're just like, what do I do? It's so confusing. Ain't nothing but the devil. But for real, so he says it goes up and down, because it's a cycle. One day you up, one day you down. You never know what you're going to expect with this person, with the relationship. You never know what you're going to expect and get from that person out of that particular day, because this person is so emotionally unstable that you somehow always want to adapt to their emotions. You want to be like, what's wrong, what's going on? And they just have their days. So sometimes you just be at the point where you be like, you know what, it is what it is. So he's saying she'll cry now, but she'll laugh again. And I'm like, okay, she'll cry now, but she'll laugh again, meaning she gonna be upset at the moment. She gonna cry. She gonna be frustrated. She gonna be wanting to hit stuff, throw stuff, but she'll laugh again. Because at the end of the day, you're gonna overlook the situation, get over the situation, bypass the situation, and then y'all, everything good. Y'all gonna be laughing again, doing what y'all do, whatever, boy bye, all this other stuff. So it's like he knows this pattern he's taking these women through, but not just him. The men or the women who take you through this stuff. Trust and believe, I got a song for the women out there that be doing the same thing. So he says, after that, cause we on the rise and she's still here with us in this expensive S. Just keeps happening, and she loves it, and she stares at me like, who does this? And then he says, and we hold hands while I pray that she's not the type to hold grudges. I'm wrong. See, what happens is, in relationships with these type of people, you go through arguments, you go through situations, but it's like you never get that closure that you need. You never get that confirmation, like that hash it out, like let's hash it out. You never really get like that, okay, you did this, let's settle that, apologize for that, do this, do that. It's like you never get to the end of an argument, and then it's like you just start over the next day, and you act like nothing happened, or they want to act like nothing happened, and you can't address it in a time where y'all heated, because he really ain't gonna hear, or she really ain't gonna hear, or they're going to reflect the situation back on you, or they're going to change the topic to another situation and lead into another argument. So it's like, it's crazy, because he says, you know, I pray that she's not the type to hold grudges, because typically when a narcissist finds that person that's understanding, that's compassionate, that forgives, that forgives, I'm telling you, that forgive, because that forgiveness plays a big part. And while they're even still here, not even just that, but obviously what goes on within you, and what allows you to forgive them, which you should always forgive, but you should also have boundaries. But it's the fact that whenever you get upset, typically you can hold grudges, because to a certain degree, well, most of the time the situation has never been resolved, so you end up left with an emotional debt. It's like your emotions are collecting because it's never getting resolved. So everything that's happening is just happening, and this is like deep in the relationship. This is when you already done settled down with this person, probably done post him on social media, probably done did everything you did with this person, your family know about him, his family know about you, and it's like now all of a sudden everything's going downhill. And it's like, dang, like, you know my peoples, or I posted you and my bros know you, my girls know you, and now you want to act like this, and now you want to do this crazy stuff. And it just be crazy sometimes. But he said I'm wrong, cause he know he wrong. He know what he be doing, and Drake seemed like the type where he's proud in it, because he's always addressing these toxic relationships, these toxic incidents. If you just listen to his music, but it's pretty crazy. But we're gonna get into the Mary part, because that's the part. You know what I'm saying? Bad boys ain't no good. Good boys ain't no fun. So it's kind of like she's, saying there ain't no in between. There is a healthy man who wants to love you properly, appreciate you, take care of you. He doesn't want to confuse you, play mind games with you. He wants to love you and appreciate you the right way. But people tend to classify these good boys or the sweet boys as boring, when in actuality it really just depends on who you pick. Because my husband, he's super sweet, he's super loving, and at the same time he lit. You know what I'm saying? So it really depends on a person. But a bad boy, I mean, that can be classified as many things, really, because you get into some serious stuff. Because trust me, I've been there, baby. So you get into some serious stuff with these people. I remember one time I lied to the cops for who was my boyfriend at the time. So I'm telling you, you get into some serious stuff with these people, and it's like, you gotta really watch yourself. But I get what you're saying here, Mary. I get what you're saying. Lord knows I should run off with the right one, and yes, he do, and he knows the one for you. And I'm telling you, I thank God each and every day for my husband, because he knew he was meant for me and I was meant for him, and that's how that worked out. So thank God. But I'm telling you, you keep trusting and believing God. If you're single right now, if you trust in him, put him first, come to him, seek him, he will provide those things for you. He knows what you need. God knows what you need, honey. So just believe in that. Seek him and come to him. My partner has helped me through a lot of things that honestly I feel like I might not have been able to get through without him. So we all need that person to rely on, you know what I'm saying? So I do believe that. And then of course, Holy Spirit, he's there to comfort you and just be there for you. So I don't strictly rely on my husband for things. I rely on God. I rely on his spirit in me to teach me. So again, it really just depends. But let's move on. Says, me and Mr. Wrong get along so good, even though it breaks my heart so bad. Bingo! You get along so well with this guy that you struggle so bad with, or this woman you struggle so bad with, because the dynamic of a codependent and a narcissistic relationship is that the narcissist feels insecure, they want control, and they have a tendency to be missing a piece of themselves that they try to find in other people. They like validation, they like admiration, so they like attention, so to speak. So essentially, that's what they need. And then here's the codependent, or let's not even classify them as codependents, but let's say the sweet, loving person, caring person who wants to accept you for all the bad you do and find the good in you and change you for the better and do these things. That person gives that narcissist, or that person who needs that attention, just what he needs, just what she needs. So that's why they click like this, because whatever that person's lacking, that person gives. Whatever that person lacking, that person gives. So I guess you're wondering, okay, with a person who's loving, caring, this and that, what are they lacking? Well, they're lacking that part of themselves too. They have a tendency of not of putting themselves behind other people, which is a good trait to have, but you got to really understand your importance, your self-importance, your boundaries. Know what you deserve, what you as a person should allow, what you as a person want. You know, if you want this appreciation, this love, this respect, okay, respect, then it's certain things you would allow. But this person has loneliness. They need, it's like they have a desire to be with someone. They don't want to be lonely. They don't want to be on their own because they fear that the most. So whenever they find this narcissist who makes them feel good, and they make him feel good, they enable that narcissist. And so it's like they're absorbing it. It's like a give and take. So, you know, the narcissist is taking all that love, and the codependent or the loving person is giving all that love. It works so good together because of who they are and what they're lacking. In their mind, it's like a piece to a puzzle where they work out together because one doesn't want to be lonely, one needs attention, so boom, bang, they're together. And then she said, we got a special thing going on. Obviously, that special thing is the connection. Even throughout the hard times and throughout everything they go through, they still have that I ain't gonna leave you, that ride or die type of mindset. Even if I try, no, I never could give him up because his love's like that. The thing I realized about these type of relationships is that they last forever. They last for years, and they last for years because it's, so to speak, it's not to put the narcissist on blast, but the narcissist ain't gonna never leave what's supplying him. The narcissist ain't gonna leave what's making them feel good, even when they're out doing wrong, even when they're out cheating, even when they're playing games with you and they're not cheating. The narcissist is never gonna leave what fuels them. You know what I'm saying? So it's only the person who's given all they have that can be like, okay, I'm done, or okay, we're gonna have these boundaries in place. So and most of the time it don't even happen that way because the narcissists go even further with breaking them down. And not only that, but sometimes the person who likes to give is the same person who is willing to put up with certain things that the narcissist does because they don't want to either start over or they don't want to be alone. They rather be with someone than to not be with anyone at all, even if that means they're not getting what they deserve, even if that means they're setting their standards even lower than they would, because not only do they realize the fact that all the years spent with this person has been a lie, but now they have to go and essentially tell people what they've been through, or just even make it known that they were cheated on, or they were lied to, or they were being manipulated. And some people just don't feel comfortable with that because it can hurt a person's security in themselves, their reputation, so to speak. So some people just really don't want to deal with that part and just deal with having to again start over. And honestly, most times it won't even be that they don't want to confront the issue. It could just be that they truly feel like this is love. This is what love is supposed to be like, meant to be like. And it could be based off of what they've seen in childhood or what they've experienced with their parents in childhood that they know to be love. So, you know, like I said in my Q&A video with my husband, what may be love to you is different from love to me, and not all the time is that a good thing, but love is what people know it to be. Keep in mind that people tend to run to things that they are familiar to. So not only does the narcissist not want to leave what supplies him, what validates him, what makes him feel more confident than he feels in himself, But the codependent doesn't want to leave because they don't want to risk being alone, being lonely, not having anyone around, even if that means having a person who doesn't value them in their presence, because they don't want to be lonely. The codependent is addicted to his love because there are good times. It's not like there's no good times. There are good times, but at the same time, it's like the emotional roller coaster is like an addiction. It's like we up and we down, we up and we down. You're waiting for that next high. You're waiting for the moment where it just stays the same, and more often than not, it doesn't. But in your mind, you have hope. You know, she said, ain't no way that I'm moving on. I love my Mr. Wrong. And like I said, these relationships last forever because sometimes the person never moves on, and they just take what they take, and they just accept what it is. And more often than not, you know, they grow old together. They grow old together. They've been through too much to just give it up. So I completely understand. But with me, I just know me personally, there were certain things that with these type of people I could not deal with, and I knew that I deserved better than what that person was dishing back out to me. And I realized coming here where I am now that yes, I did deserve better, and yes, now I'm in a place where I'm actually happy in my relationship, and I don't have to worry about false hope. Because that's a lot. That's what these people tend to put in the relationship to even keep it going, is that false hope that I'm gonna change, I'm gonna do better, and they don't. And the moment you try to leave, that's when they do. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, there's songs for this, and honestly, it might have to be a part 2 to this, because even breaking down this one song is already taken so long, and there's like 5 other songs.